Hi guys, I'm Chloe, also known as Skydart, and this is Larry, also known as Major Nelson.
What's up? What's up, Reddit?
Hi Reddit. So I have your questions right here. I'm literally reading it right off the thread.
Yeah.
So let's start with our first question.
Are these the most upvoted ones?
These are the most upvoted ones, yes.
Let's roll.
All right, so let's start with the old, after the Xbox One servers are shut down at the end of the new generation, will Xbox One games still be playable?
I'll just say this: we haven't even started this generation, so it's kind of early to talk about the end of the generation. I mean, that's certainly something that we would not do. That's not the way the system is designed. It's designed for flexibility, but let's get the system out there first.
Very good point. Very fair point. All right. If someone is banned, whether their fault or not, will they lose access to the games they purchased?
Absolutely not. You will always have access to the games you purchased. Absolutely not.
Yay.
Yay, really?
Yeah.
Come on, you had to expect that.
Well, what happens if I get banned for griefing? I want to be able to
go out in a multiplayer.
All right. I like to buy physical copies of games such as collector's edition with physical bonuses and such. Why is it that someone with a physical disc of a game inserted into the console could not play that game offline for longer than 24 hours? Why could that not work as a fail-safe for if the online connection drops for 24 hours? Just a simple please insert the disc to continue playing message.
That's an interesting question, and it's pretty complex. I'll answer it this way. The way we design the Xbox One architecture is for flexibility, and one of the areas that we can do that is, for instance, our family sharing. If you and I are in a family and the crew's in a family, you can check a game out of our game library and use it. So this ability that we've got of seeing what you've got in your library, that's as a result of being always connected. So we think the upside of being connected, and I think you talked about the disc check and so forth. It's really about the library and having access to your games anywhere you are. Things you really can't do today, and all of us having access to our games anywhere you are. That's certainly one approach, but we decided to take a little bit of a different approach because we think it's going to be more flexible for the future. And that's really what Xbox One is all about. It's about, we've kind of looked towards the future and say, this is where the gaming industry is. See, this is where the gaming industry is. I see it in my spirit house. It's where the gaming industry is going, and we want gamers to come with us on this journey,
Right.
which is going to unlock this amazing potential of these great gaming experiences, as well as flexibility like I just described with the library. So it's one approach, but we decided to take an approach which we think is going to be infinitely more flexible.
Absolutely. Actually, to add on to that, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and I'll go back. It's basically, what is the additional value bought by the once every 24 hours connection? What do I as a consumer get out of that?
Well, I think I just kind of went over that, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's so many, if you're going to give me a game, the system's going to automatically know, oh, here's your game, and it's going to automatically just appear in my library. I don't really have to do anything. As well as having access to the most up-to-date library when my dad or my mom buys a game, it's automatically in there. So it's really, like I said earlier, it's really about keeping your library up to date and knowing what's going on. Right?
Right. That's a very good point. All right, backing up a little bit. Will you change anything about the Xbox One after seeing the Sony conference? If so, what?
I don't really think, we're not going to change anything. I mean, we're very happy with what we've done with Xbox One. We're very happy. Did you see the games on stage at our briefing?
Absolutely.
Did you see the exclusives? I mean, we're really, really proud of the system and the games that are coming out. I mean, when you look at games like Titanfall, have you gone through Titanfall yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Conversation over.
Yep.
We're really happy with what we showed on stage, and as well as what we're showing here in the booth. So I think it's safe to say that we're confident where we're going. Mm-hmm. We're also confident that gamers are going to love our vision of the future and what we're going to offer for gaming.
Fantastic. All right, I think I have a little. All right, here's one more.
Okay.
What is your target audience with the Xbox One? Many of your features cannot be accessed or are stripped down from markets outside of the U.S. Why should someone who can't use your features buy the Xbox One?
I'm a little puzzled by that question, and I know it's not yours, it's from here, but I mean, as long as the console's built for the future.
Right.
And a majority of the world, or most of the world, is now connected. Mm-hmm. So I'm not quite sure what features they're not going to get. If they're talking about things like Netflix and things like that, well, that's certainly a content provider conversation, and that exists today. It's not an Xbox problem, that's an industry problem. Mm-hmm. How can I have my content? I would love to have Sky TV, mm-hmm. but I can't because I live in the U.S. Right. So I think the conversation is really around content And so I guess that's really what they mean, but I'm not quite sure.
Okay, yeah, they have a little discussion that basically says what you just said.
Okay.
So. And one more, like a quick tech question.
Tech.
Can you please clarify how the HDMI input is going to be used?
Ooh.
Is it going to allow input from a set-top cable box or other HDMI-compatible devices such as Windows PC as well?
Yeah.
Will the current Xbox 360 be able to input into the Xbox One to allow the UI of the One to be overlaid on current-gen Xbox 360 games?
Can I upvote that? Yeah, so the answer is yes. First of all, it's the only console right now that has HDMI in, and it's going to absolutely allow you to plug in for instance, your cable or your set-top box. And what that allows you to do is, I want to make sure people understand this, because this is heavy.
Good. All right.
Is that when you plug it in, you can be watching TV through your cable provider, through your satellite provider, and then instantly you get that game invite to play Rise. Boom, it switches like this. It's like instant. Ooh. So that's one thing, and if you're done with Rise, you can go right back to watching television. We also have this concept of overlaying a guide. Mm-hmm. So there's a guide that can happen that we produce on the Xbox side that we can kind of put over your the existing guide, so you can kind of go up and down and manage it that way. Now, we're not a DVR in that game. We have a game DVR, but we're not a true DVR in that sense. That's also going to all handled by the set-top box. We're just allowing people to still watch TV, the types of TV that they have, and then get back to their game experience and still stay connected to live.
All right.
How would you like to be watching whatever your favorite TV show that's not available anywhere else, but still get friend invites, right?
Yeah.
And still stay connected.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can even use our Snap mode and watch the TV over here on the left while you're playing a single-player game over here on the right.
Right.
So think about that.
Yeah.
So and the other question, absolutely, you can certainly plug an Xbox 360 in the back, and that was one of my first questions when I heard about the feature. So there's a lot of things we can do with that. Again, it opens up great opportunities to have this great gaming experience, but still stay connected.
Awesome. Okay. I know I keep saying one more question, but I have one more question from a Redditor that is me. Okay. So what is one question that you have not been asked at E3 this year that you wish you'd been asked about the Xbox One?
Ooh, that's a good question. That is an excellent question. I've been asked so many. I've been on the show floor for the past 3 days.
Right.
Probably would be one about, probably we're talking a little bit about the family package, and people really haven't really gotten their heads around what that means. We talked about that earlier on. Is about, wait a minute, I'm waiting for someone to ask me, and you kind of already asked me, so I don't really have an answer to that question, because you already asked me that question. I was thinking about it coming up here, about our family proposition and things like that, so probably that.
All right, well, you want to talk a little bit more about the family proposition? Or
It's awesome.
It's awesome? All right, cool.
No, it really is awesome, and we're really excited about what we're doing with Xbox One. I know there's some questions out there in the games community. We've got to, we're going to be answering those. I love doing things like this. I'd love to come back on sometime.
That would be great.
And I'm probably going to drop in that thread and say what's up.
Fantastic.
Is that cool?
Yeah, what's your username on there?
Major Nelson.
And your Twitter is also?
At Major Nelson, my blog, Major Nelson, my username, Major Nelson.
Major Nelson, just all across the board. Right.
That's all you need to know.
This guy. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, really.
My pleasure. Welcome.